we are live now on Facebook and with our monthly dance podcast. So for anyone there who is now also listening this live, welcome. I'm just stopping. I hear background coming. Now it stopped in there. But good. So anybody there who is also listening now live, so welcome to our Dance Journeys podcast. My name is Pirita, and today is the 9th episode already. So nine months totally we've been doing this. Each month we have had a different guest, and I'm super excited to talk about today's guest. So we have Benedetta, who is from Italy originally, but also now living in and studying in Scotland. But I will let straight away just Benedetta to tell a little bit about herself.
Okay. So I'm Benedetta, but mostly people call me Benny because apparently it's easier to remember and pronounce. And as Pirita said, I'm from Italy. A city near Venice, and I've been studying in Glasgow for 3 years now. So I'm an actor, and I studied there at the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland, and I studied on the BA performance in BSL in English. So that means that it's an acting course for deaf people. And now I'm doing a master in acting at the same university, so at the Royal Conservatoire. And as I mentioned briefly before, I attended the BA performance for deaf people because I am partially deaf myself. And so I think my journey was like a roller coaster a little bit, because I was raised in a hearing family, speaking Italian and then English, and with no contact whatsoever with the community until coming here. But now, 3 years later, I can speak my languages, but also I can sign in BSL and Italian Sign Language, and also act in both of them.
Wow, amazing. I feel like just the last years for myself, I've been more and more kind of curious of how to get kind of my own dance performances more accessible, especially because I use a lot of text usually in my work and spoken word. So how to kind of sign language that, and I'm excited for the kind of the hallowed walls that you'll be kind of helping us in for that online experience. So that will be sort of new. But also for just a heads up for anybody who is listening to live or being live with us, you can pop in any questions on the chat, or if you're even watching this later, you can pop them in the comments, and I will get them on Benedetta as well. It will be okay to answer them even later on. So, but I'm really curious to understand more about, because you come from a different background, and being partially deaf, how that is kind of affecting on your dancing. But how is your dancing kind of background? Where did you start? Have you started dancing when you were a kid, or what's your kind of dance history?
So I actually have no real dancing background. So I did like 3 months of hip hop when I was a kid. So I may have been like 14 years old. So it was more than 10 years ago. But I don't know, I didn't really get it. And I really liked it. And to this day, hip hop is one of my favorite styles. But I don't know, I just didn't feel fit for dancing, if that makes sense. So maybe that's something I will go back later. So I think my dancing journey started when a friend of mine who is also on the challenge, Valeria, she took me to have a live class with you, Pirita, before lockdown happened. We were at Dance Glasgow, and it was a street dance class, I remember, and I saw you there for the first time, and then I just subscribed to your newsletter, and a few months later, during the first pandemic, I received an email saying that you were setting up this training, and instinctively I went like, yeah, I want to do it. Like, what I meant earlier about not feeling fit for dancing is that I always felt very clumsy and very like maybe because I can hear music, but sometimes maybe I can't really hear the beat like sharply enough, or I always felt like a bit uncomfortable in my body, especially how I move. I don't know. I always felt like I wasn't really good at moving, and maybe because of also external influences. And but I knew that when I received that email, I was like, a part of me was, I don't think that's a good idea. Remember that you are clumsy, and the other side of me was like, what? I can work that out, I can smooth it. It doesn't matter. It's maybe it's just something that you think. So so just go for it, and that's what I was. That's why I decided to do it. And I remember I was very firm. I was like telling my parents, but I had already made the decision. I was like, yeah, I'm starting training on Monday, and I would do that, and that's it. End of story. So
Amazing. Wow. But it's really lovely to hear from that, like that you haven't, because most of people that are coming kind of on dance, they have some kind of like they've done it on the when they were a kid, but then they had break, but that you had it kind of the passion in there, but just didn't find the place, and then yeah, well, it is meant to be, I guess, of you finding then through my emails of the
yeah.
course. So what do you think? How has it now been? Because you've been now more dancing. The if we think about the last year, and
Yeah.
I know that. How do you think the kind of the dance training that you're doing now is your kind of, because you're partially kind of deaf, is it affecting your dance training? Do you feel like it's affecting your ability to listen to the music or being part of the program? Do you feel any kind of
The
yeah
fact that I'm deaf, you mean?
yeah
Not really. I mean, there are a few. Sometimes there are songs that okay, let's put it this way. I think sometimes when I do the choreo, I kind of get lost because I can't really hear or understand like the number of beats or the movement that the beats make, for example. So sometimes it's hard for me to follow, but well, actually my family is a family of musicians, so I was raised in a music background. So I think I just got used to it, and I found maybe also unconscious ways to circle the problem, so to just get to it. And sometimes maybe I need to know the choreo more, and maybe that's why I noticed myself that I tend to go very fast with the choreo, even without following the music, and maybe you notice this as well. I think sometimes it's because, of course, I'm insecure, but other times I think it's because I'm afraid of not hearing the beats, if that makes sense. So for me, the challenge is to pace it down and like going slower, and just feel it, because sometimes, of course, with the mics or the mix of a computer are not very powerful, but sometimes you can really feel the vibration, especially in the reggaeton music, which is very low, and so I can feel the vibration, or the beats from there, and not actually from the actual sound in the ear. I can actually feel it in my body. So sometimes I just go with it, and I think that's the alternative way I found to surround the problem.
Amazing. Wow. That's really lovely to hear that. And yeah, that and you find a way how it works for you as well, and resolve that issue in a way. of, yeah, and it's with everybody, like I've said to you all, like we all are different learners. Like I know I have really bad dyslexia, and that affects on my dance kind of learning in a way as well, and I just have made a different habits around that helps me to get inside the choreograph, or get inside the choreographer's head, or whoever, if I'm working with somebody else. So yeah, amazing that you have found that way for yourself.
Yeah.
So now that you've been doing more dancing, what do you think has been your favorite things throughout the year? Do you have found some favorite styles that you're surprised, or is there something you mentioned already that you like, kind of that street dance styles and that kind of background, but is there something else that has kind of surprised you in dance style kind of world?
Yeah, I think I would never have thought to fall in love, deeply and desperately in love with reggaeton. I don't know why. I don't know. I remember always my friend Valeria mentioned it, like, oh yeah, there's this reggaeton class, you should come along, blah blah blah. And it was online, I remember, and I was like, reggaeton, what was that? Because I was thinking of the reggae, the reggae music. So I was like, I don't know why I made that association. Maybe because I didn't know the style. But then I tried it, and it was amazing. It was great, and I really, really liked it. And since then, I think that has been my favorite, and it still is. Because, well, I actually like all of the dance styles that we did, especially hip hop and street dance. But reggaeton is something special. Really, I don't know. Sometimes I have bad days, and I just go home and I do the warm up of reggaeton, and I immediately feel better. And it's something there. Also, I think it's because it's moving a lot with the body, and I'm not thinking a lot. And also because I was saying previously, I used to have this strange relationship with my own body. So I think that reggaeton is challenging it, because if I didn't used to see myself as sensual or good or particularly agile, I think that reggaeton is like saying, well, you can get it in your own way, you just need to follow it, So I think I really feel good when I do reggaeton. It, of course, it's very difficult. I always find difficult things when I do it, but I don't know. That's those challenges only make me love it more. If it makes sense.
Amazing. Wow, great. Well, what do you think on kind of before you started to dance more? You already a little bit said of what kind of challenges you had, but what do you think was the biggest thing that kind of was stopping you to go ahead and dance more before, if we think about life before pandemic?
Before, okay. Yeah, I think it was the low admiration that I had about myself. So the low esteem that I had towards myself, and also I don't know why, but I always paid a lot. Well, I think we know why we pay attention to other people's opinions, especially when you are younger. I always found a lot of people, especially in my family, who told me that I didn't have a dancing body. I was a bit not really thin, or I wasn't. Yeah, I didn't have good moves, etc. So I think that when I heard that, I immediately went, okay, so that means that I'm not good. I will never do it, because if I do, then people will think of me that I'm like, will think worse of me, etc. I think that was stopped me in the at the start when I was younger. But then I reached a certain point where I said, you know what, fuck it, sorry. So just fuck it, and I want it, and I will get it. So that's it. No matter what other people say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good that you had that, because then that kind of pushed you to go for it. And I've been on this podcast, I've been so many of the ladies talking about the same, that it's just about these things that we think about ourselves, which is really stopping us for going forward and just enjoying dancing and whatever people want to do with dancing. Is it just a hobby or just exercising? But it's the things that we kind of think about ourselves is the things that is really stopping, and it's really, yeah, it's not good, but and I'm hoping that we get forward with that one year.
Yeah, I hope
Well,
so.
how you are feeling now then, after being more doing dancing? How are you feeling now if you think about that challenge?
I feel grateful, really grateful, and really glad that you came up with this beautiful idea to help not only me, but also all the other girls on the program and the future ones who will be in the program. And I feel more confident and more, well, more, other than rather than more confident, I feel more conscious of what I can do, and of what I can keep exploring, keep working on, and of course that will never end, because we always have something that we can work on. But I definitely, meanwhile, before I was really in the head and like worried about, oh my god, this is not good, I'm not doing it right. Now I try to enjoy it more. And if it's not right, if the technique can be improved, yeah, I will get it improved. I mean, you will tell me, and I will smooth it and work it out. But I think that what's most important in dancing is to enjoy it. Is the freedom that you find. Is I know the independence, the self-redemption, everything that you find for yourself is not what people think of you. It's really dancing. I think is a way of is a wonderful way of expression, and even though I already have a way of expression, which is acting for me, which is my first passion and love, I think that dancing is really, really important. So I feel like that. I feel much more conscious of what I'm capable, and much more, I'm much happier because I'm getting it, because I'm enjoying myself more.
Wow, amazing. Oh, that's really lovely to hear. I think it was the whole purpose, which I kind of, the whole get your group back together, or why I even do the teaching, and why I love sharing my own passion for dance, is just truly that reason of that. If I can get people on that point where you are now, of realizing what dance can be, and yeah, that freedom, what you described really nicely. Well, you said that, like you said already on the when we started, like you've been studying acting, and acting is your passion as well. Have you noticed how now kind of dancing more, how that has kind of affected on your acting skills?
Yeah, especially I found it this past week, because I started the master in acting, and we are doing a lot of physical training, really a lot. Of course, that's aimed to acting. It's aimed to to moving on stage and not to dance. But I don't know, there was this session the other day when we were exploring movement, our own body movement, letting different parts of the body leading us, leading us. And I had a moment where I was worried, like, what am I going to do? And then I just thought, you know what, just switch it off and go. And I was following my instinct much more. And I could really, really see that, first of all, I'm much more resistant. So I'm much more conscious, like my body is stronger. So I can handle physical work much better than I used to do like 1.5 years ago. And also I'm much more conscious of how I'm expressing emotions through my body, and I think I'm working much better. It's like my brain has gone to, I don't know if I have any value, to I have a value and I know it's there, and my body has a value, my mind has a value, the whole thing has a value. It's different to anybody else's value, but it's still there. So it's like I've started the master on the place of equality, and that's really helping me. And that came through, of course, a personal journey, but also from you, the training with you.
Wow, amazing. That's really lovely to hear. And I guess in so much of the best thing out from dance is as well that it affects our other parts of our life as well. If we kind of, like I keep on saying to many of you guys, like if you keep on doing the right things, it will start affecting on other parts of the life as well. And it's lovely to hear how much it's also affecting on your other passion, which is the acting. So if it sounds like they are kind of nurturing each other in a way, helping each other but in both ways to grow. So that is really lovely to hear.
Thank you.
Well, I know that if there is people now alive, I keep my eye on the chat as well, but I got a few questions before we kind of started.
Yeah.
So there is a question, if you could go back in time, what would you tell the you that hadn't started the journey yet? So I guess the question goes more of, what would you tell that person who hadn't started firstly dancing at all yet?
I think I would tell her to follow that instinct, which is in the right place, and to have faith, especially because things are falling into place in a much better way than she could have ever have imagined. And don't worry about challenges, because challenges are always going to be there. Challenges are not there to destroy you. They are there to prove that you can be better, because you can, we can, and I can, and my younger self can too. So I would tell her this, I think, to go for it, to jump, and don't worry, because she's not gonna fall into the void. That gonna be something soft there to where she will land, actually.
Yeah. Amazing that you now did the jump. This is one thing.
I did jump, didn't I?
It's people who kind of have been thinking about it along, or they feel like, oh, they haven't done it. They're like, why didn't I do it? I was like, well, you have done it now, so don't worry about it. Don't like beat yourself anymore. Just now focus for the next step. But
exactly,
regret is the biggest thing. It comes in our ways, and it's a shame if you don't do that jump. It's going to be there in the background for your in later on, which is a shame. So amazing you did that jump now.
Thank you. And if I can add one last thing, I think I would also tell her to not to worry about the age, because I know that there is the wrong assumption that dancers, if you want to dance, you need to start very early. And that may be true for some aspects, but does not, I don't think it's entirely true, because there are a lot of dancers who started dancing at 27, 30, 25, 20. So this is not a problem of your physicality. Is that's gonna come. That one is gonna come in time. So we just say, go for it, no matter what age you are, just go.
Yeah, fantastic. And then there was another question, what has been the most significant thing to change in you, and how has it affected in your life outside of dance?
I think the awareness of me, the awareness of my body, and maybe it can sound like a cliche, perhaps, but I think that's one of the things that changes in dance. When you dance, I think you are really forced to connect with your body, because without your body you can't dance, basically. So you are forced to do it. And I think that even though I didn't really like my body before, now I accept it. And I think that that's what's taking me, like that's what's shaping much better my life, if that makes sense. That's what's making me a more confident person. It was making me a better performer in both acting and dancing. It's just the knowledge that this is my body, and I can keep going nurturing it. But it's mine only, and it can be really, really nice things. So.
Yeah, amazing. And if there's anybody now who is live there as well, I keep my eye on the chat, so if you have any questions, just pop them in the chat and we will get back. We have a few more minutes left for this live, so put your questions now so we get into them. But now, thinking all the journey that you kind of went through, of kind of not have done so much dancing and being kind of scared of going for it, and now you have kind of went for it. You have really done it. I have seen you totally transferred in many ways in dancing, and in your own kind of, how, like you said, accepting your body, and is already amazing journey that I've kind of had a privilege to kind of experience with you. So what would you say is now also the kind of the next thing that you are more kind of looking forward to kind of get for yourself, or like what's your focus now? What do you want to learn next? What's the kind of your end game where you are kind of facing now with your own dancing as well?
Okay, I think I would like to explore more, go deeper into contemporary dance, because I find the technique to be a bit challenging, and so I would like to dive into it more, because I know I have a passion now for like Latin American music and reggaeton, but contemporary is important as well. So that's an area that I want to I don't want to avoid, like I want to feed, and also I think I would just want to keep going and to keep working on myself, and to keep going what I do, like I think this basically.
Oh, fantastic. Well, there's many times the most common discussion is about the time. Time, how much we have time in a week, how much we have time, we don't have time. Even if we think about we're in a holiday, we start being busy, and I'm like always reminding, like, there's never enough time if we really look at it that way. Well, how have you kind of managed to do classes and training? What has been the thing that helps you to keep on going when the kind of the life gets in the way and things get busy?
So something that helped me at the first stages last year was to do the classes, or after classes, depends how much time you have, in the morning. So like before going to class or school, I already used to wake up very early, like 2 hours before going out to do my own training and to meditate. So I think that time can be filled out with dancing too, or to split the classes, so not worry if you don't have 1 hour or 2 hours straight in a day to do it, but maybe if you're going to do the recording or the challenge, the group back challenge classes, to do maybe something, and maybe the warm-up and technical exercise one day, and then the rest, like split it in the week. And of course that becomes a bit more challenging if you have more if the classes when the classes become longer, especially in the third level, and if you have more than a class to attend to do, but sometimes I find out that maybe I can't do everything because of the schedule. So maybe I don't know, maybe I do the warm-up and the choreography. Maybe it's not a lot and I'm missing some stuff, but at least I'm keeping the training up, and I'm not forgetting, and I'm keeping my body warm, and like I'm keeping level, and I'm doing the classes. And then maybe another day, if when I have maybe I find some time, I go back and maybe I can do the other parts that I missed.
Yeah, yeah. It is like you said of that, of doing what is the benefit of like why I created the program being inside of the app, that you can do the classes whatever time it fits for you.
Yeah.
That's the bigger help for really honestly even those weeks when it's busy. And I think of so much of our kind of how we have learned to keep on kind of dancing, or learn to kind of training, is that it happens on certain time and certain place. So that is kind of so stuck in our minds, like that's the only way to do it. So I would, like you said, it's the beautiful how you can little put it inside the schedule, even if you have that 15 minutes or 20 minutes, and it's just to keep on going, because every time when you stop, you need to start all over again. And like you said, keep that body warm. So even if it's that half an hour in the week. So, but it's building that habit of starting to see your own training a little bit differently. Not that it's just like, of course, we would all love if we could all have the Pacific time each week of going to a dance studio and be there together. I guess we all would love to do that, but if it's busy, it's not going to be possible. So why not try to let yourself to learn of this new habit, even though it might kind of challenge you of this like, oh, I don't like it, but learning that habit is in a long run will give you more possibilities to keep on training and keep off that body being warm and not having that on and off kind of training, which is really hard. Even more and more you get older, it just gets harder and harder to really pick up. So yeah, it's fantastic you kind of have noticed that it helps when you are you can do it from the kind of that kind of program, that you can do it in your own time and put it in the little pieces in there. Fantastic. If you have there now, we're gonna have last questions, so pop them in there before we are finishing. But do you have any questions? I know I've been asking a lot of questions for you, so do you have any questions for me, or want any last thoughts for the people out there?
I remember you told us once that there was a moment before or after lockdown, I can't remember. Oh no, maybe it was after lockdown, the first lockdown, where you felt like you were going to give up dancing, right? So I was wondering what changed, what made you decide to keep going and to set up the program.
Yeah, I kind of talked about that on the point on when the pandemic started, because before that we felt like so many of the projects and the work that I've been going for it was kind of picking up finally, and we're excited for the Fringe Festival and everything was kind of looking good for that year. And then it was kind of swept everything in just one night. It just felt like it was just taking away. So again, I felt like, oh my God, like I've been working so hard again of taking these things forward. And again, it's just taking away from me. Like, what is the point in this? Like, and that's how I really felt the first few days. I was like, there's no point. Like, we just keep on doing this crazy work and then it's just taking away from us. And then we need to start all over again. And I really had a long thought, like, okay, should I just change career? Like, is this now the final kind of showing me that I just need to go and do something else? Because I've been doing so long time and being in just in dance profession, as a teacher, as a choreographer, as a business owner, as a like I just felt like, is this now the moment of really going to something else? But then I felt that when I started to get messages for people who be coming to my classes, like, oh, please start like do like online live class. And before that, I hated everything that happened in technology. I was like, I'm not a big fan. And I was just like, oh, like, yeah, this is totally out from my comfort zone. But I knew on that point, like, okay, if I'm not going to do it now, I'm just going to put it aside and I'm not going to help myself grow either. So I was like, gosh, shit, I need to do it. I just need to go for it and see what's going to happen. Put myself out there again. And of course, in that moment, it always feels like a little bit like, oh my God, what if it doesn't work? What if it doesn't help people? What if people doesn't like it? What if they don't come anymore to their classes? What do I do then? It's like millions of questions is just running through your mind. But then when I had the first online live class, I remembered that feeling of, wow, like I think it's of course it was that feeling of being still connected with people. But even more it was for me of, because I've been so long time away from Finland already. And there were also Finnish people in my classes. And I was like, wow, I get to dance with also like people that have been on my classes previously, but I haven't seen them. And I felt like I got little back of that homeland in that one night. So I was just like, okay, there's something I need to discover. And as much as I noticed that it's not my comfort zone, I need to push myself now going for this. I need to do it. So it's going to show me something else. And then it kind of, the program also came me through from that idea that I've been building for so long time of this more individual program that I could kind of take you guys in a different journey. And then it's just like, okay, if I don't do it now, when I'm going to do it? Like now is the good time for it. So it's been crazy to think like from coming from a year, more than a year from that point of hating things online, from now having that all of my work is still online. Like even now the Hallowed Walls, the online live performance is online performance. So yeah, it's and I still hear it of people like, oh, I hate online stuff. It's just like, I know, I've been there. Like honestly, I know it. But it's just saying that there's something I would encourage people to do it, because it's just, it opens up so many different parts. Like you said, you can do those classes, you can keep on going even if it's busy. And I know the same. I've been training on my home even before lockdown, and doing sometimes classes from the videos, and it's just helping to keep on training even though if it's busy. So yeah, that was kind of the moment of like, okay, there needs to be a change. And I feel like I have found that change now. And yeah, and I'm excited of seeing now that when I go to another country, how can I keep it up this all? Like there hasn't been any time of that kind of chance that when I go another country, so I go back to Finland or I go to South Africa, or like I always had to kind of stop teaching or stop doing my work or stop working with some other artists. So now it's kind of creating a lot of opportunities, which I think we're still kind of learning what it is. But yeah, I think that kind of saved me. And I think it saved me during the lockdown as well. Definitely.
Beautiful.
But I think we are almost now kind of ending for everything. So I always kind of ending with the podcast of just asking what would be the last kind of words, what you want to say to now people who are maybe similar than you and maybe been listening to there and kind of can resonate of like that first go has been kind of scary and little self doubt in the way, and maybe hasn't had that much dance background and thinking of going to dance but don't know. What would you say to those people now?
I would say that the background is not really what's important. I think what's important is the will. So the will of doing, of wanting these beautiful things for yourselves. So and also I think that dancing is dancing with Pirita is beautiful, because you always feel welcome and never judged. And if there's a challenge, she helps us out all the time. And so I think that if you like something, you should go for it. And especially if you love something, you should just embrace it. And if you don't have the courage to do it, which is something I understand, maybe start from small. Maybe maybe do one class, or go to a course, or do something small, and see where it takes you. And I think ask yourself where you want to go. So how, okay, I think you should ask yourselves, how do you want to feel in the future? So do you want to feel like at peace with yourself, no matter who you are, where you're from? And if the answer is yes, and if you like dancing, then maybe you should just go for it.
Yeah. And this is, like you said, thank you so much for your kind comments. I feel really privileged to hear it, and thank you so much for your kind words. But yeah, it's just finding, there are so many teachers and so many teacher different styles how we work. So yeah, finding that the right teacher for you. And it's, like you said, it's just starting from the small, at least, for having it a go and seeing if it's for you. So yeah, well put in there in the end.
Thank you.
But thank you so much for joining and sharing your journey, and sharing what you have learned and what you kind of have went throughout this. And I'm excited to see. I kind of have said throughout this podcast that I hope that maybe a year after this, that we're gonna have like a podcast to with all of you guys who have been on my guest, and we have a little chat together and see what has happened now, even 1 year, and where it kind of has taken you guys. And yeah, hopefully, like I said, I've been putting this podcast for hopefully that it kind of helps people to realize, yeah, we're not alone with these feelings. I know same feelings that I go through with my dancing. Many of you guys have been going through the same things. So it's just when we keep on sharing them, it keeps on helping us to understand we're not alone. Definitely. But thank you so much, Benedetta, for joining us. And I'm just gonna say now bye for people who are there listening to us as live. And yeah, if any time later on you have any questions, just put them on the chat and we will get back to you. But just now, wishing amazing evening wherever you are, amazing day. And yeah, next month on November we will come back again, and I have a fellow dyslexic person who is going to share her experiences as well. So I'm excited for that chat as well.
Beautiful.
See you guys then on November.